Nailing down a plan for strategy. Missouri soybean farmers have been forging a new strategic plan, and on this edition of the Missouri Soybean Spotlight podcast, we'll talk to a Missouri soybeans farmer leader about adopting that plan and where it's expected to take the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council.
My name is Mark Limbauer from Hannibal, Missouri. I am currently your Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council Chair. I reside in Northeast Missouri and farm with my family, my brother, and my parents and my wife.
Mark, explain the purpose of the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council and what sets it apart from its Missouri Soybean Association counterpart.
So the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council is the checkoff wing of the soybean collaboration. So we are limited by the act and order as to what we can do. Our areas that we are allowed to spend the checkoff consist of demand, education, and research. So this is where we focus on increasing markets and education of consumers and researching new products that can help the Missouri soybean farmer.
Governance of the council is in farmers' hands, Mark. What's important about leaving the steering of this ship to farmers?
Well, when you have farmers at the forefront of making the plans, I think that we are able to act a lot quicker because we know what's going on in the current conditions on the ground, basically. And so we're able to see things maybe before, other people that aren't as invested in it. And I think the most important thing about having farmers involved is it's our livelihood. It's how everybody makes their living. So we have everybody's best interest at heart. We're not just wasting money. We want to make every penny go as far as we can.
And of course, there's also the point of credibility in creating a plan, any plan on how to spend checkoff dollars. How does the fact that farmers are leading this lend to that credibility and effectiveness?
Well, it really is all about the value of leadership. So when you have farmers at the forefront of making the plans and doing everything, I think it lends a lot of credibility and effectiveness. I mean, we're reflecting what's going on the ground, boots on the ground. And kind of like I said earlier, we can act because we're doing it in real time. And so I think that it makes us a lot more nimble and mobile by using the farmer leaders that have boots on the ground.
In other words, perhaps what's in your best interest is in the best interest of agriculture and farmers as a whole.
Correct. Yes. Our main focus is going to be what is best for the farmer, for the Missouri soybean farmer.
The Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council is finalizing strategic planning. What are some of the highlights of that plan and what is its focus?
Our strategic plan was a few years old, so we decided that we should update it because, as with everything, things change. One of the things that I think that we, as our farmer-led board, decided is we wanted to get back to the basics. And I think you hear that a lot, even traveling the communities. Expenses have gone up for everybody. So we wanted to get back to basics. And so we're focusing on the fundamental strategies, such as research that has direct benefits to farmers and demand that helps with our markets.
Mark, I want to get some of your personal reflections on the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council strategic plan. What are your thoughts on the intended impacts of the plan and how it addresses soybean demand and farmer profitability?
Well, some of my personal reflections, I think the biggest one is we're going to continue to have a strong direction for the future success of the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council. I think we've had great successes in the past. We just want to keep that up so we continue to have great successes. We also want to connect or encourage people to connect more with Merchandising Council. I've said this other times, at different points in time, but I encourage any soybean farmer, if they have any ideas, anything that we're missing as our farmer-led board, to go ahead and reach out. Reach out to your local director, reach out to the office and share your thoughts, because there's 13 of us. We have a great representation, but we're not perfect. We're all human. And, that allows us to grow collectively as a community by doing that.
Realizing that, Mark, what would you say to growers about what they should be doing to make this plan successful? What are growers' action items that they should be addressing?
I think growers could be successful. There's a lot of research that we do that's helpful. We've did a lot better job of trying to get that out to the public. I know that it gets lost in a lot of the other data that farmers get presented every year. There's some sound research stuff that could help them with their profitability. The other thing is I encourage farmers to get engaged. Your voice makes a difference when people are talking. Your voice makes a difference on the demand side. Talk to consumers. There's a lot of noise as to what's good and what's bad for you. And so just talking to consumers and explaining what you do, a lot of times from the demand side, it's just a miscommunication as to why a certain product is chosen, for instance, over soybean oil.
A while ago, you mentioned a collaboration between the Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council and the Missouri Soybean Association. Give me an idea of how collaboration would reinforce the strategic plan's success, the collaboration between the Soybean Association members and, of course, checkoff payers.
Well, I think the biggest thing, if you want an example of how this has worked in the past, is biodiesel. Biodiesel was discovered in Missouri, at University of Missouri, by Merchandising Council years ago. We were able to fund the research and figure out some of the demand possibilities. But where the association comes in is they can actually go in and lobby, which we are not allowed to lobby, to help change some rules to make it more attractive to use biodiesel.
Mark, we're recording this just after harvest took place. Tell me about your growing season and harvest this year.
So we had good yields. I think the dry weather in August and September kind of took the top end off of our yields. Harvest for us, just like everybody else, it was super fast paced. Crops were really dry. In my lifetime, I don't remember a year where crops have dried down this quickly. I also don't remember a year that we started cutting soybeans and never stopped because of weather. It just never rained. Personally, on our farm, we had a great harvest. We were concerned about a lot of things, the over dry crop, and we were really concerned about fire there for a few days as much as the wind was blowing. Luckily, we didn't have any issues, but in general, it was a pretty decent growing season.
How does it make you feel to complete the harvest each year?
It's kind of a sense of accomplishment. I think that the other thing is it gives you the completion for the year. I've said this before, we're kind of limited in the number of harvests that we get to do in our lifetime. So you can kind of evaluate what you did right, what you did wrong, what maybe worked, what maybe didn't, and kind of figure out a plan for next year, how to make things better, more efficient, more profitable.
Expanding on that limited number of harvests that you have, what do you like to do in your off time? What does Mark Lenbauer like to do in his spare time?
That's a really good question because I don't seem to have a lot of that. So I don't know if I really know the answer, but we spend personally, our kids exhibit livestock. So we tend to do that. We participate in kids' activities in school and different things. I pretty much like to do things within ag research, different things, other ideas people are doing around the country, around the world, see if there's any of those that would integrate into our farm to make us more efficient.
In that respect, do you get a kick out of attending Commodity Classic and meetings like that where you can interact and network with other farmers?
Commodity Classic is my favorite show to go to because there is so many new ideas. It's kind of the forefront of what's going on in the ag industry.
I guess that probably underlines some of what you said about collaboration and networking with other farmers, finding out where they're coming from and what they're doing.
Exactly. I mean, that Commodity Classic is one of the best collaboration of farmers put together. There's plenty of time for people to communicate, meet new people from around the country, and just bounce ideas. It's kind of interesting.
Missouri Soybean Merchandising Council Chairman Mark Lenbauer. Find this and other editions of the Missouri Soybean Spotlight wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on the air with the weekly Spotlight on Soybeans, brought to you by Missouri soybean farmers and their checkoff. Thank you for listening. I'm Tom Stever.